If you suffer from tight hips, either from a repetitive activity or from a sedentary lifestyle, I'm going to show you a quick mobility routine that you can do body weight only. Welcome to Fitness Integrated Science. I'm Lauren Irk, and in this routine, I'm going to show you a quick hip mobility routine that you can do to make your hips feel less tight and a lot more mobile. Now, in this video, I'm going to be using 2 yoga blocks. If you don't have a yoga block at home, you could certainly substitute this for a pillow or maybe a book or nothing. You may not even want to use them at all. So as we get started, you're going to need to be able to come down to the floor. So I invite you to go all the way down your back with your knees bent and your feet flat. Now we're going to begin with a very basic hip position that is just basically a knees to chest exercise. So as we draw that knee in, you're feeling muscles contracting here right across the top of your hip. Now if I take a yoga block and place this on the inside of the knee, I'm going to move my knee into the block. What this does is it immediately draws attention to the inside of the hip, and then as we exhale, we lower that down. Now we want to make sure that as we bring that leg in and place the block, the pressure from the block and the leg are symmetrical. They're basically meeting each other's force to create a little bit of tension on the inside of that thigh. And then as we exhale this time, let's go ahead and lower that leg all the way down. And this is just another variation. Now notice, how much range do you have here? Place your block on the inside of the leg, and you may even notice muscles engaging in your abdomen as well. This is that isometric, just a light amount of pressure, no cramping or shaking. And then exhale, then do the same thing on the other side. So as we bring that leg in, we place the block and move the thigh into the block to hold. Good. Now as we lower the leg down, let's go ahead and put that foot flat. Keeping the other leg straight, I want you to raise that leg up as high as it'll go. Take your hands behind your head and add a crunch. Now this is going to be a calisthenic. Keeping your leg tight, I want you to exhale, lower that leg down, maintain the position of your lower back, and then inhale, coming back up. Now if you're unable to get your leg up very far off the ground, it's totally fine. We're going to do one more time, just explore your specific range of motion. And now I want you to bring your leg down about halfway. Hold, and then all the way down. Halfway hold, all the way down, one more time, all the way down, and then taking that yoga block, bring your leg all the way up and lower your head down. Now do whatever you want to do with your foot here. You can place your block above your knee or below your knee. If it's further away, definitely below the knee. And just move your leg back into the block until you feel those hip flexor muscles. This is great for potentially unlocking the hamstrings on the backs of the legs. Hold and breathe. Good. And then exhale, lower that all the way down. Now changing sides, let's bend that knee and straighten the other leg. On the exhalation breath, move that leg all the way up. Hands behind the head as we come into that leg raise. Let's tighten the belly as we lower that down. Then as you inhale, raise that leg all the way up. Every time you're doing this, concentrate on shortening right here at that hip. Good. One more time as we come into that shortened position to hold it. Let's now take the leg halfway down now. Hold that. Definitely if the leg feels heavier, then drop. And again, halfway. And drop, halfway, and drop, then go all the way up. And now let's create that isometric. You may notice that one side of your body moves differently than the other, and that's really normal. So I'm just very lightly moving my leg in, but I'm not cramping. It's extremely gentle. And then exhale, lower that back down. Now let's switch legs one more time. And this time what I'm going to do is work on my external rotation of my hip. So keeping the pelvis flat on the floor now, let's move that leg out to the side. So when I finish this, you can see there's definitely some space between me and the floor. And I want to fill that up because I want to actually give my leg something to push into. So I'm just going to move my leg down into the block so that I feel muscles engaging across that hip. Good. Then inhale, come right back up to the center. This should not put any pressure on your knee. So let's do this again. Now this is a common position that people need when they sit on the ground. That's why I'm doing this exercise. And then back in the middle. One more time as we move that leg back out to the side to hold it there. Just squeezing into that outer hip. and then bring that up. Now let's just bend the other knee, take the yoga block and place it between the legs. This time I want you to push your legs into the sides of the block so we're feeling the inner thigh muscles. And let's go up into a bridge. So we're really working on engaging the gluteal muscles and the hamstrings and the adductor muscles, and then we lower that down. This is our calisthenic. Squeezing back up, tightening, and then lower back down. Weak glutes is a big problem when we think about hip mobility. We need our glutes to be able to climb stairs and do all kinds of things, getting up and out of chairs, and release it. So let's take this block away, straighten this leg, and now as we externally rotate through the hip, notice if we have symmetry. Does one side move differently than the other? Once again, place the block under the leg so that you're filling up that space as we squeeze the outer hip, and then bring that leg back to the center. Then do it again as we externally rotate through the hip. Let's just hold it there. And back in the middle. And then one more time, externally rotate through the hip to hold. Squeezing for 5, 6, 7, 8, and bring that all the way back to the center. So from here now, let's just bring one knee into the chest and rock that all the way back into the center. Now as we flip around, let's come down onto our belly. Pressing the hips into the floor, this is an alternative to the bridge position. Lower your forehead down. Bend one of your knees to a 90-degree angle, pressing the hips down. Now from here, let's just peel that leg off the floor, holding that isometric. And then exhale, we release that back down. Let's change sides. Bending that knee again, press the pelvis into the floor. Imagine that you're peeling your leg off the floor from way out by the knee all the way back to the hip. So we're engaging that glute. And then exhale, release that back down. Let's try that one more time. Bending your knee, peeling off the ground. Now I've worked with a lot of clients that maybe they can't even get their leg off the floor, and you can see that I'm not getting my leg off the floor super lot. Exhale and back down, and then one more time, bending the knee, squeezing that leg up. So don't worry about the height, just focus on contracting the glute. Again, trying to strengthen those gluteal muscles and release it. Now as we bend both of our knees at the same time, move both of your legs out to the sides just enough to be able to walk the feet together to touch. With your arms beside you, forehead down, let's see if we can now peel the fronts of the legs off the ground. Now this is going to be more challenging. You're picking up more load, so make sure you're not trying to jam that lower back. And then back down, then one more time, squeezing, pulling it up. And back down, and then last one, squeeze and press it up. And back down. Now as we push into the floor, let's come up to all fours and walk our legs up underneath us. This is what I like to call, you've probably heard of this, the fire hydrant. So picking up one of your legs, let's go ahead and come into that extended position rather, just like we did on the ground. Then I want you to externally rotate to the hip and then internally rotate to the hip. Now it's okay on this one that you let one hip get a little higher than the other, but I just want you to explore your mobility against the force of gravity. This is really going to involve you to have to contract muscles in the back of the hip. Let's do that one more time. Notice I'm not moving my legs super wide, and then back down. Round the back, tighten the abs. And then inhale, extend the spine, pick up the other leg. Hip extension. Now we abduct, move that leg out to the side as we rotate through the hip, and then we internally rotate back to the midline. Do it again, rotate out as we come out to the sides, and then inhale, coming back in. This is a great exercise, and I've oftentimes heard this described as sort of lubing up your hips. I don't know that that's really what's happening, but we're certainly engaging muscles, and we're drawing some neural activity to those gluteal muscles that we need to be able to get through the motions in our daily life and release it. All right, so let's get a block ready to go, and I want you to slide one of your legs in between your hands. Now you probably have seen this before. We're gonna do a little isometric here that is called in yoga the pigeon. But if you can see, I've got some space between the floor and my hip. So I'm just going to place that block there so I don't put any pressure on my knee. The back leg is fully extended both at the hip as well as the knee almost. I want you to tighten into the glute, push the leg into the floor, and imagine you're dragging that to the front of the mat. Press the forward knee into the mat and imagine dragging to the back of the mat and just hold that there. This is my pigeon position. Now, can you maintain this as you begin to bend your elbow? This may or may not be a possibility. Then as you press into the ground, keep squeezing those legs together. Let's do that one more time, lowering down. Inhale, pressing that back together. And then finally, as we release that out, let's return now to all fours. Changing sides, take the other leg through, filling up that space with a yoga block or maybe a pillow or a towel. Any one of those things work just fine. Draw those legs together, pressing the back leg into the floor, easy. Good, and if you like, go ahead and lower yourself down. Then as you inhale, squeeze into those glutes as you come back up. One more time, coming back down. Good, and then we squeeze right back up to the center. From there, remove the block and come all the way out. Now, see if you can take both of those blocks directly out in front of you, and let's just step one of our feet in between the blocks. From here, shift your body weight forward. See if you can push that back leg off the ground, tightening into the glute, pushing those legs together. Then exhale, lower that down, slide your blocks back. As we do this, we shift our weight back into the back leg. See if you can dorsiflex that forward leg, drawing the top of your foot back. And then from here, imagine your leg was super light. You're going to tighten up into those thigh muscles. Good, then bending your knee, let's come right back to where we started, pushing that leg up off the floor, tightening into the front of the thigh, squeezing into the hips, and then lower that back down. So let's come back to all fours, and then we just change sides. And if you need to bring the blocks up higher, feel free to do that. From there, as we draw that back leg off the floor, see if you can pull your legs against each other, tightening into the gluteal muscles in the back leg. Exhale, lower that down. Then as we flatten out that back foot, shift your blocks back, pull the top of the foot back and tighten to the front of the thigh, engaging that forward leg. Good, then as you exhale, we lower that down. Shift your leg forward again, tuck your back toe under and squeeze into that glute. And watch what we're gonna do. We're actually gonna step that back leg to the front of the mat. Now, take one of your blocks and place it between your legs. And imagine as we're coming into this forward bend, you can certainly use this one to help you. As you're coming into the forward bend, imagine that you're pushing the block through to the back wall. So that way we're internally rotating into those hips. Easy. Then exhale, bend the knees, coming down into a squat. From here, I want you to pick up your arms and reach them out in front of you. Good. Exhale, take your hands back down to the block. Push back. Now you don't have to worry about straightening your legs here. Just focus in on engaging those hip flexor muscles. Then exhale, sitting down, and let's come right back into our squat. From there, let's come all the way up to standing, taking a hold of your block. Let's reach it up over the head, pushing into that. Exhale, push the feet away from each other, and now you are done. Now after doing that short little routine, you should feel like you have a whole lot more mobility in your hips than when you started, which was the goal in the first place. If you like this video, make sure to give me a thumbs up. Also, make sure that you are subscribed. Share this video with anybody that we can help. And also, if you would like more information about routines like this to improve your mobility and strengthen your muscles, try Fitness Integrated Science TV. I'll put a link below so that you can check it out. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next video.